Hello and welcome back to Misery Loves Mandy, solo ep, Misery Loves Marriage. We talk about the cost of marriage, divorce, toxic couples, reality TV love, and rom-coms. So please make sure to like and subscribe, share with a friend, and enjoy. Oh my God, we're back. Episode 2. Don't say episode 2. Take 2. No, the second time I'm doing a solo episode. We're doing it again. You guys were very nice with your feedback. It made me feel great. I was very nervous doing the first one, and I'm happy to be doing it again. I was waiting till we started to have my drink because there's just something about cracking it open once we start. It just feels right. Although I shouldn't do that because then there's no one else talking. So, Mike, can you say something real quick?
All right, everyone, start your timers. Mandy's first sip is now, and she will pee and start your clocks now.
All right, we're going. This is my favorite energy drink, but they make me pee like crazy. I'm also... Well, I got you in the beginning. Send in your miserable pee stories because the next solo ep I do, I'm going all pee. I'm reworking my pee joke, adding a lot more in, and I really would love to hear your pee stories. So, Mike?
So the last time I peed my pants, it was close.
No, next episode.
Oh,
That's next episode.
Got it.
Today we're doing Misery Loves Marriage. So it's strange that all of my new jokes I'm working on are about marriage and divorce, and I'm not married or divorced ever. So it feels like, why am I talking about this? But it feels right. I'm also worried that my boyfriend's going to think I never want to get married because I've got this pro-divorce joke I'm working on, and that's probably a mind fuck for him. Maybe I should sit down and have a talk with him. But you know what? He can listen to this episode if he wants to know. You know, Misery Loves Mandy. It's right on the top. Misery Loves Marriage. You idiot. Okay, we're going. So this is going on right now, and I'm sure everyone's always dealing with this. My friend is getting married, and I thought that I was out of close friends getting married. Like having to worry about spending the money on weddings and yada, yada, yada. I forgot about one of my best friends, Sam. She's getting married. Woo, Sam! Very happy for her. But I mean, I had my best friend, Grace. She got married a while ago. She kicked ass with her wedding. She did it all herself and did a low budget wedding, and it was just fun for everybody. This wedding, it's just the price, and my friend now has also gotten the hotel room down and everything. She's doing the best she could. No one's doing anything wrong here. We just all know spending money on weddings is such it sucks. Because you're like, God damn it. Am I ever going to go on a vacation with my boyfriend? Am I ever going to do anything for just me? Because your money just goes when you're spending it on family vacations or friends' marriages. And this was my big weekly wiener for, weddings in general. But I go to book the hotel room. And they go, because there's the whole wedding block, so she got the price down. But they go, so the room is $199 and without taxes, plus a $50 resort fee. The fuck? A resort fee? Why are they adding all of these prices in to the room? We already got the fee. I would rather you just tell me the room was $250 a night without the resort fee, because that just grinds my gears. That's just you can't just keep adding things. What is
The first known resort fees sprung up as early as 1997, according to the Federal Trade Commission. Didn't take long for customers to begin complaining, and in 2012, the FTC sent warnings to 22 hotels that resort fees were not adequately disclosed to their hotel reservation websites.
That might be why this guy told me like 3 times, there is a resort fee. I'm like, what do you want me to do? And then he goes, would you like me to tell you what the resort fee entails? And I had said, hell yeah, I do. What the hell is this $50 going to get me? And it said they have something going on every day. There's the gym, the spa. And I'm like, you're just listing a hotel. Like, that's just, I bet you there's not even a free breakfast. That's what I would want. So I guess my weekly wiener is just the cost of attending weddings. I feel like when I get married, I want to put on the invitation, like, there has to be so much guilt. Or maybe this is just me, but I feel like I would have so much guilt sending out a wedding invitation. So I would like it to say, hey, I know this is probably very inconvenient for you. If you don't want to come, don't worry about it at all. You're going to save me money in the end. Just let them know if you can't make it, it's no big deal. Because then I think actually more people would want to go. I think you get all stressed because you're like, oh, shit, I have to do this or else I'm a bad friend, which is why I have not been to many of my friends' weddings because I just don't go. But this is the best friend, so we're going to make it happen. And now that I got the hotel room and ripped off the bandage, I got my JetBlue points coming with my credit. I'm excited now. I'm very excited for the wedding, and I'm very happy for her. But just weddings in general, it's like, I was looking up the prices. I wanted to know what the normal prices for weddings are these days. And they broke it down by state. So the cheapest state, all right, Mike, take a guess. And you guys, before everyone take a guess. What do you think, if you know your states? First of all, I don't know many states, so this would have been hard for me. But what is the cheapest state to get married in?
North Dakota.
It is Utah.
Oh, those Mormon weddings. They want them.
Oh, I didn't even put 2 and 2 together with the Mormon weddings. Wow. I guess they get so many weddings that they're like, we've got enough. We can keep the price down.
And you need to marry 3 wives at once. You get a deal.
That's very true.
Punch card them hoes.
Okay, now everybody think, what do you think the most expensive state to get married in? And I got to tell you, this one surprised me. Mike, what do you think?
Well, I was going to say New York, but now that you say it's a surprise, oof.
Oh, you were close.
Oof.
You were so
New
close.
Hampshire.
New Jersey.
Huh.
Don't we think New Jersey, isn't that known to be trashy? No offense, I'm from Florida. But I wouldn't think of New Jersey as like a fancy place.
You won't talk about Jersey like that. I'll throw you in the
said
water.
No offense. Don't be offended when I say that. It's just not a place where I think it would be expensive. I'm so sorry if this accent is offending anybody here. That was it. It's a whole chart. So it said the average cost of a wedding in the United States is around $33,000. So, I wonder if I know back in the day it was supposed to be the female's family paid for the wedding, which if you're a lesbian, that's great. Then you get to split it. But I don't really think that's a thing anymore. I think they kind of I think the couple throws in, the family. I think it's like a hodgepodge and people just throw in and try to make it happen however they can. But
yeah, they look like happy tears at the wedding, but they're confused, broken, torn apart, emotional tears.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Credit. Oh my God.
So $33,000 is the average price of a wedding, and it says that it of course depends on the location, the number of guests. I feel like a wedding will be scary for me because I'll realize how little friends I have. I'm always been somebody, I'm friends with everybody, but with I always like close friends. I keep it so small because I don't like repeating my stories, If I'm going to say something, I'm calling Grace or my mom and they're going to hear it. And That's all I can do. I don't know how some people... Do you ever have like a friend that calls and tells you something that happened to them? And you can tell it was so rehearsed. Like they've said it. You're like, am I the fifth friend you've called to complain to this about? I'm like, you only get a couple, you know?
They already have their breaks paused in where they're waiting for you to laugh.
Yeah, they have punchlines. You're like, this is a joke. This isn't asking a friend for help. So I was thinking about this the other day because my boyfriend and I, we've been together for 4 years. And I was like, well, if we keep living together, we'll have the common law marriage. I forgot like that whole existed until I said that. So I didn't know common law marriage is, if you don't know, it is legally recognized as a marriage between two people who haven't obtained a marriage license or had a formal ceremony, but who live together and hold themselves out to the public as married. So I think this is crazy. So you have to live together for 7 years. I think I learned about this in that movie, He's Just Not That Into You. I think it was Jennifer Aniston's relationship where he wouldn't propose type of thing. Well, that's always the story. That's like the telltale story. Is it called a telltale story? A telltale story? A tall tale is exaggerated story. Maybe it's a tall tale. Ooh. Anyways, there's always that story of like you date this guy forever and he's like, I'm just like not into marriage. And then you guys break up after 10 years together and him not being into that thing. And then you break up and then he dates a 22-year-old and gets married and engaged that year. That's like the horror story that females hear. But common law marriage, sidetrack, if you just live with someone. But I didn't know that it says California does not recognize a common law marriage. Couples must obtain a marriage license and participate in a formal ceremony to be legally married. I think that should be normal. I don't think if you live with someone for that long, if you would just be married, like what if it's your roommate? Does it just become...
Yeah, when they made these laws, they didn't know how high the rent was going to be.
That is so true.
I got a lot of fucking Chuck and Larry's out there.
Yeah, for sure. Chuck and Larry. That's funny. A great movie. It says California abolished common law marriage in 1895. That's a while ago. So that's that for that. But just a random law.
Notice we abolished it before we gave you girls the right to vote on it.
Oh,
let's get rid of this stuff.
What the hell? Oh, well, I'm going to move to New Jersey and get married because I'm going to be rich. Let's go to New Jersey for an expensive wedding. So one joke that I've been working a lot on lately is about divorce. My parents are divorced, and I think that divorce is great. My mom always tells me with anything in life, she said this when she was on my podcast, I think. What is she? If you're not a tree, you're like, I don't remember what she said. Something like, you're not a tree, your roots are, you're not a tree, you can pick up and move. Just like if anything is ever wrong, like my mom has always taught me, like, be happy. Like, don't be stuck in something you don't want to be in anymore. So, like, I think that's how it should be with divorce. Like, I can't stand when people say they're still together for their kids. I'm like, that's a cop-out. Stop being a pussy and get a divorce like a real person. I should be a divorce lawyer. So, I think it's weird when someone's parents are still together. Like, any time someone says their parents are still together, it's unsettling. Like, to me, it sounds like someone being like, I still have my baby teeth. Like, something just seems a little off. It's strange. Your parents are still together, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that later. We'll get into that after. Anytime someone tells me their parents are still together, I just assume they're religious. Because I'm like, no two people would stay together that long unless they think ending it is going to send them to hell. I'm like, that's how I'm like, there's no way they're going to stay together unless they have to. Which I'm like, that's such an insane standard the Bible set. I was like, even God wouldn't lock it down with the mother of his own child. Like, God got Mary pregnant, and then he literally invented ghosting. He was like, yeah, I'm the dad, but...
If you want to know how freaky those people are about religion and marriage, look up John Hendricks. He lived down the street from me growing up and killed his wife and his family because he wanted a divorce, but the church didn't like that.
Oh, my God. No, God intended. That's crazy.
Allegedly.
A lot of people do. That's like one thing a lot of people do end up killing instead of getting a divorce. So many people, almost every true crime is that they're so miserable in their marriage and they don't know how to get out of it that they kill the other person. That's crazy.
Just sign the paper.
That seems, I would like to say it's lazy, but I don't think that you can't be lazy if you want to kill someone.
They make divorce so hard that it's easier to murder someone than get through all the paperwork. It's like, I'll just kill this son of a bitch. Like, I'll kill him. Like 10 years, but the amount of paper.
Oh, yeah. 10 years in I guess you'll probably get more than 10 years in prison, but that's how hard it must be to get a divorce. That you have to just kill the other person. There rarely is a true crime story that's not about, it's like someone's cheating, someone wants out, and they just kill each other. It's crazy. I was looking it up because I'm like, okay, this is the standard the Bible set, but like, what exactly is going on here? And it says, the Bible generally discourages divorce, viewing marriage as a permanent union, but allows for it in specific circumstances, primarily for sexual immortality or abandonment of an unbelieving spouse. God is not going to marry Mary. He just is going to do whatever he wants. But it says, according to the Bible, God specifically is not, that he doesn't have to have a wife or be married. Rather, the Bible portrays God as creating marriage for humans, not for himself. That's like having a matchmaker that's not married or been divorced a bunch. I'm like, I want a matchmaker that is happily married. What are you doing? That's a bad matchmaker. That's not who I want. If God's not going to get married, then the Bible shouldn't be able to do that. If someone's going to say you have to stay together, then you should be stuck with your person. That's only fair. I think divorced parents are the best. I remember like in high school, like I said, my parents were divorced in 9th grade. And I loved it because you had like I had like my dad's house where I could just be like the daughter, the lacrosse player, just like, you know, and then my mom's house where we could just have a little bit more fun, you know. But I think so. One of the divorced parents are always like, you can drink if you're gonna drink here, and they give you like shots of peppermint schnapps and wine coolers. And I remember my friend Alex's dad. I never really smoked weed in high school. I think I like tried it once and it was bad, so I stopped. But I remember like smoking weed with like his parents. He had both of his parents. We went to his mom's and his dad's. Were so much fun to go to. Every friend with a divorced parent, I'm like, this is where we want to party. No one would ever want to hang out at somebody's house if the parents are still together. First, it's just like boring.
I think you could replace that with insecure parents also, because insecure parents who want to be liked are also divorced parents, because my parents always threw the party, but they wanted to be liked. They wanted to be everyone's friend. They want people to think they were cool.
That's like, exactly typically what the divorced parent is. And what I was going to say is like, they're just lonely. They just want like you to be there. But that's the goal, is your parent.
My parents still ask how my high school friends that I don't talk to are doing.
Aww. The goal would be to have parents like his, where they're still together. They throw the parties. My friend Jane, her parents are still together, and they actually did throw things together. But you kind of would go there more with like your family, like everyone would go there. But give me that sad, lonely divorced parent that just needs company, and that's where you're going to get fucked up in high school and have the time of your life. That's
where you're going to learn some darkness.
You don't care, though. You're a high schooler who can't buy alcohol. You're like, this is amazing. This is where I want to be.
And when we were growing up, it was before reality TV, so you weren't going to get to see this train wreck on some other show. You're just going to get to see an angry divorcee let you know the secrets about this shitty man.
Yeah. But usually I feel like all of the divorced parents that we'd hang out with, they were always just so happy. They were in like their prime of their life because they're finally out of whatever hell they were stuck in. So to me, it like seemed like the divorced parents' house is like more goals than like my other friends whose parents were still together and they just seemed miserable. That's why it's weird when someone says their parents are still together too, is because you're like, it just feels like you're young. Like if we're older and your parents are still together, it just feels like it makes you feel like you're young again. I don't know. Because no ones are. So this is so funny to me. So when you're younger, you're like, it's weird that everyone gets divorced, and you're kind of trying to understand how this happens, why the divorce rate is so high. I mean, relationships in general are very hard. Even good relationships are a lot of work. But still, why is the divorce rate so high? And now that I'm seeing all of my friends get married, I'm like, oh yeah, this checks out. I've had friends like vent to me about their relationships and how much they can't stand their partner, telling me all of these insane things. And then you just scroll through Instagram and it's like them getting proposed. You're like, what? Like I was just in hype mode, like on having your back, being like, yeah, in this, like you could do so much better. I can't believe he sent that text to his ex, or all of these messed up things about the person, and then they get proposed to and say yes. I'm like, it's kind of like a psychological mind fuck of like, you're watching this young couple. Well, we're in LA, we're not that young anymore. We're watching this youngish couple get proposed and then married, knowing all of the problems about it. It's like you're in like the past, seeing the future of why they're getting divorced before they even get married. And you're like, oh, I get it. Everyone's just getting married that shouldn't be married. And I had an old joke I've been trying to bring back, but I think I just came off bitchy. But I just was saying that like, it's like marriage musical chairs. Because like right when you hit that socially acceptable age, like this timer just goes off in your brain, the music starts playing, and you're just walking around sitting on dicks, testing them out. And then whenever the music stops, you just run around and you find whatever dick is left and you just sit on it. And that's your husband. I'm like, that's what marriage is turning into. No one's marrying the person that they are like, this is who I want to spend the rest of my life with. They're just marrying their boyfriend at the age that you should get married at. So it's just kind of like, I hope whoever I'm dating in my 30s or back home 20s is a good guy, because that's going to be your husband. That's just so weird to me. But I guess you can like think like, okay, the older you get, hopefully you choose your boyfriends better. So there is, kind of some of that behind it if we want to support that. But also like in your hometown, you only have so many choices. So like you'll see like everyone that you like grew up with dating people that like didn't talk in high school or anything, or they all dated the same guy, and you're like, it's so random who finds each other back in your hometown. I mean,
or the age demographics that blur, because a senior might never have dated a freshman or something, or had that type of age gap when you were that age. Mm-hmm. But now once one of them's 40 and the other one's 45, it's not thought of at all.
No, not at all.
That's just fine. But if you show me a senior dating an 7th grader,
it's illegal.
I'm like, yo,
it's illegal.
Yo.
Yeah, it's very different. Gigi Hadid and Bradley Cooper are dating now. They've been like, there's been pictures, but what is their age gap? Gigi.
Trying to find me some of that Hollywood age gap.
Yeah, I love a Hollywood age gap. Oh yeah, what's the biggest age gap? we got 23 couples with a big age gap. I don't even know who these people are.
This is a reverse one. Aaron Taylor Johnson and Sam Taylor Johnson. She's 57. He's 34.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, that's okay, though. That's okay. We're allowed to do that.
Yeah, she picked him up when he was 19 or 18 or
What?
something. Oh, yeah. This will be for next episode, or maybe the Patreon. You can do some research.
Oh, yeah.
There's something here.
All right, we'll dig more into that on the Patreon. Okay, so Gigi Hadid and Bradley Cooper have a 20-year age gap.
Michael Douglas and Catherine Zeta-Jones, 25.
And they've been together forever.
Oh.
Kris Jenner and Corey Gable are 25 years apart. Jeff Goldblum and Amelia Livingston, is that how you say that?
Emily, I think.
All right, 31 years apart.
Oh, Jeff's 72.
Wow, he looks great.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh, yeah, Nick Jonas and Priyanka, 10 years apart. 10 years is a good, I think that's that's what I think. You know what? Everyone do whatever. Wait, what is this?
Sarah Paulson and Holland Taylor.
They're dating?
That's what the internet tells me.
I've known they've been dating forever.
Yeah, Harrison Ford and Callista Flockhart.
It seems like, you know
22
what?
years.
It seems like it works for some people.
Dennis Quaid. Hey.
Okay.
30,
This one
70
looks
and
weird.
31. Or let's pull up Bill Belichick and his
I was
20-year-old
gonna say,
girlfriend.
I think the craziest one I've seen in my entire life is Bill Belichick. If you guys have not seen this, please look up Bill Belichick and his girlfriend. It looks like it is his daughter, and he had a child late in life. It is the craziest thing to me that she is having sex with this man. I mean, good for him, I guess, but like, I don't. Bradley Cooper and Gigi Hadid, they're both attractive, youngish, whatever, who the hell cares? But this one, gives me the heebie-jeebies. I know, let people do their thing, but the photos of this, it's just too resemblance of just having sex with your dad. And I don't know what her relationship is with her dad. How do you invite your dad to meet your dad?
At the big game.
Yeah. We could sideline. We could sit on the sideline to every game. So are you fine with this, Dad? That's her dad and that's her daddy. It's very different. A couple letters makes a big difference. What is their age gap? Bill Belichick and girlfriend Jordan. She's 23.
72 and 24.
I don't know math. 24. Do you guys ever use your fingers when you count?
I think that's 48 years.
48 years. Ah! I don't know. Them being 48 years.
He's literally 3 times her age exactly.
Oh my God. I mean, you want to say the whole, like, what do you even talk about? But we all talk to our parents. So, I mean, they can have things to talk about. They could talk about how much he loves having sex with her. That's something they could talk about.
About all the racist things she has to apologize for when he's not around. He didn't really mean that. He's just older.
Yeah, don't blame him. Oh, man. Whatever. Love is love, right?
And sometimes we all love money.
Yes. Who doesn't love money? Oh, my God. I love money. I want more of it, please.
So sign up for the Patreon.
Yay! So back to my friends marrying people that you know they're not right for each other. And that's not me judging them. That's them telling me I hate this person, and then them getting proposed to and saying yes and getting married, and then you having to pay to go to their wedding when you know they shouldn't be together. There should be like a return. If you get a divorce, I think 2 years. We'll keep it simple. If you get a divorce 2 years after your wedding, you have to send people their money back. I think that's only fair. But this is something weird that some of my friends who are in bad relationships that are married or engaged do. And once again, this is just my opinion. There's no right or wrong. But I think it's strange when people talk to their boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife about how many people they've slept with in the past or about ex-girlfriends. I have one friend that like knows all of her all of her boyfriend, all of her fiancés' exes' names. And I'm like, I only know one, and just because she lives near us. But I just think keep your partner's past in the past. I don't want to know how many people you slept with, because to me, you've slept with one. And that person is me. I just think it's weird. I think it's kind of like usually one person telling the other person all of these things because they're insecure and they want to make their partner insecure is typically the dynamic that I've seen when this happens. I think just love each other and let's not talk about the past. That's what I like to do. Leave the past in the past. Oh God, I just watched the finale of Love is Blind. Woo! This show drives me crazy. I don't think that Love is Blind. I think Love is Blind is for, I think Love is Blind for women more than men. I think Love is Blind for women because women will go on a first date, go home, call their friend, and go, oh my God, I just was on the best date. I'm going to marry this man without ever having to see his penis. If that's not Love is Blind, then I don't know what is. I mean, that is commitment. That is a risk you're willing to take just because you liked someone's personality. You're saying, I'll marry this guy, although I may never feel his penis when we have sex. See, a guy wouldn't do that. If a girl had a small penis, they wouldn't. Another joke I used to do that I want to try to bring back is just... What? Are you laughing at all my old jokes?
Yeah.
Hey.
I like that. If the girl had a small penis, a guy would never. Yeah.
The joke all of the jokes I feel like the musical chairs, I'm going to get them to work again. But a lot of jokes I stopped doing is more of like an insecurity of how they make me feel. Like I feel like when I say these jokes, I feel like I'm coming off rude or bitchy and it makes me insecure because I don't want to ever come off that way. So another one about guys versus girls that I gotta get it to work again was like to this point is women will date like an ugly guy if you give him a funny personality and a beard, but a guy would never date an ugly woman if you gave her a funny personality and a beard. It's stupid.
Yeah, it's the same setup as the wouldn't date a girl with a small dick. Yeah.
That's how I just came up with that on the spot. You guys like that? No, it's just the same thing. But I do think like girls will date an ugly guy. I think girls actually like dating ugly guys because it makes them look cute and pretty. Like, it's kind of like how some girls like to date guys that are, like, covered in tattoos. They're kind of just, like, dating someone that gives them, like, this item. But when you date, like, a ugly dude, you're like, I'm the princess. And all of the friends, they're, like, they never talk shit. They're like, oh, her boyfriend's ugly. Girls don't give a shit. Instead, they're like, oh, he probably treats her so well. He's like a big teddy bear.
Women value men for their accomplishments in ways that men don't seem to judge or give points for or compartmentalize the two completely. Like, oh, she's awesome. She can hit a three. Caitlin Clark, she's amazing. And then the same people are like, oh, no, she's ugly. I wouldn't wife her. It's like, what do you mean? She'll tell you everything about sports. She's awesome. You just said all these things. She's rich. She's like, nah, she's like a 4, though. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah,
the accomplishments. Women are turned on by accomplished men. Yeah, if this ugly guy with a funny personality and a beard wasn't accomplished, we wouldn't think he was hot. But I guess, security is hot. There's just different things. But then I guess women, then you get away with if you are stupid. It doesn't matter as much. I don't know. I think there's pros and cons to every gender and qualification. Now, if you're poor and ugly, I am so sorry. this has got to be a tough life.
As Daniel Tosh says, you're going to have to work.
That's so funny. He should do comedy. You're going to have to work. Sometimes I'll see like a couple. This is going to sound rude. As my mom say, there's an ass for every seat. But sometimes I'll see a couple they're just both equally very unattractive. And I think that seems nice. Like they're probably so happy. They don't have to worry about everything else. But then you just find out still that guy cheated on her. Like it doesn't. It's all the same. It's all relative.
Or then it's two fat people trying to like, oh, if he gets skinny and I don't get skinny, or like that type of keeping up. There's always something. Yeah.
Chris Pratt getting all jacked and then him and Anna Faris ending it. Don't even get me started. We know whose side I'm on. I'm sure Chris Pratt's a nice guy. But okay, so Love is Blind. This freaking show is making me lose my mind. First of all, I'm only seen the last 3 seasons in general, but I think you watch the entire season just to get to the finale. Not the finale. You watch the entire season to get to the finale, just find out if they get married or not. And they never get married. And it blows my mind that they have all of their family come to these weddings. And the parents are so sweet. And they think this is their child's going to get married. And then saying no, the poor family's faces break my heart. I'm like, I hope this show flew out the families for this. Imagine that, paying to go to this wedding and they say no at the end. Oh, hell no. I will be asking for a refund. But this season was so sad. So one of the couples that said no, there's this cute little girl, maybe like 4 years old, and they say no, and the guy's crying and she's leaving, and the little girl looks over to her grandpa and goes, "What's happening?" And the dad's response, if I remember correctly, he didn't word it well. This 4-year-old is going to have such bad psychological trauma of what a relationship and commitment is for the rest of their lives. The dad looked over and said, "She said no." He was like, "She said no." That, like, just, I don't know. The little girl's just so confused. She said no, and the guy crying. That's bad.
Maybe the girl's like, "We're allowed to do that?" Wow.
Imagine learning that at 4, though. Like, seeing this go down. You imagine, like, as a child, you're like, you marry the Barbie doll. She's going to play Barbie and being like, "No." And then, and just crying. And that's her playing Barbies for the rest of her life. This kid, I just couldn't stop thinking about how scarred this poor child is. But I was looking up the success rate of these reality TV show, like, so it says, words, Mandy. I was looking up how many couples stay together. And it says, while many reality dating shows aim for love, Love is Blind has seen the most marriages among its couples, with 9 couples from the first 6 seasons being remarried. Which I just think that's because they actually get married. So then they don't want to do all of the work to get divorced. They're like, we are going to actually work on this. Where in The Bachelor, they end up just only getting engaged. And that's the easiest thing in the world to just...
And The Bachelor, you're incentivized to have it ruined because you want to be coming back for another season or something. It's like, oh, you want to be back and we'll give you the golden whatever, the blah, 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 or the second try. You want to still be famous? Well, go crazy and then come back and do it all over again.
Yeah, although I love watching the couples that stay together, like JoJo. I don't know. I feel like the couples that stay together in The Bachelor, it is fun to watch them on Instagram. But Love is Blind has the most couples that are married out of all of them. I'm a big Survivor girl because I got sick of all of these love shows. And I was like, they have a lot of people that stay together. Turns out there are, I think, 5 couples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 couples. 6. There's 6 couples from Survivor that met there and got married. So the Survivor has more marriages than The Bachelor, which is pretty crazy. That's insane.
We call it trauma bonding?
It is trauma bonding. And they get so skinny, so, you know, it works
They're in
out.
shape. They've seen each other naked in the bush.
Now I'm like, if you go on Survivor, can you just like the week before you go get like a shot of Ozempic and laser hair removal? You're like, I can make it a week without being hungry and not having to worry about my hair growing back.
I think Survivor lasts longer than a week, though, right?
Yeah, but it's only like 20-something days. It's like a short month. So if you get through the first week without being hungry, that's a pretty big stretch. Rom-coms is another funny thing when it comes to like marriage and relationships and everything, because everyone sets their expectations up from rom-coms. Like, we want that love that's in a rom-com, that meet cute, where you're like, some guy spilled coffee on me and I wasn't pissed at him because he was hot. But rom-coms, I've always thought like they start with you being in a bad relationship, ending it, you being a cute, hot mess, and then meeting the guy, and then the end of the movie, you end up together. But give me a rom-com that starts when you first start officially dating somebody. Like, okay, will you be my boyfriend? Will you be my girlfriend? We're official. Go. That's where I want to see a rom-com start. But you know what? No. That's not where I want to see a rom-com start, because it'd be an awful movie. That's the movie which we've talked about before, is The Breakup with Jennifer Aniston. That is what a rom-com would be like if it started in the middle of somebody's relationship. They just fought for 2 hours. You just watched an awful, awful marriage and 2 people that hated each other. That's why every rom-com ends right when they start dating, before his breathing can start bugging you, before you realize that she doesn't know how to hang up her clothes and she's impossible to live with. That's why a rom-com doesn't get into the relationships. It just shows the fun part of getting them to know each other. And even that part in a rom-com is always so difficult. I'm like, if these 2 people are having such a hard time getting to just become official and so many ups and downs and stuff, I doubt the relationship is going to work. I was looking up which rom-coms. Are there any romantic movies where the lead starts the film together and they stay together for the whole film? The majority of romance films, stop calling them romance films. The majority of rom-coms, for obvious reasons, focus on people either coming together or falling apart in various ways. But are there any that somehow get around that convention? What is the central conflict in those movies? So one that they mentioned is actually one of my favorite movies. Is some of them aren't not, but I Love You Man. But that had a whole theme to it of him finding a best man. But I Love You Man is the best movie, and it's in a relationship, and she finds out he doesn't have any friends. So I think that's a good example of one that did it well.
I wouldn't even call it a rom-com, though. That's a buddy movie.
Yeah, it's a buddy movie. Shit.
It's almost like a buddy cop, but not a cop.
You're right.
Yeah.
Because she's like the third main character, his
right.
wife.
Like Knocked Up is even more of a rom-com than that is, because you
Yeah.
actually know what homegirl's feelings are.
But they just started dating. They just
Right.
got knocked up. But they did just start dating. It is the beginning of them being official. But 4 Christmases, it said, is one, but is a couple has to go to 4 Christmases. If you would have guessed what the movie's about. That's like a family comedy. There's really not many.
Well, there's movies that are about the dynamic of a relationship, but they're not really rom-coms exactly. Like you could watch Christmas Vacation and you get to see how Beverly D'Angelo and Chevy Chase are acting as a couple, but it's a Christmas movie or a vacation movie or a travel movie or something like that, or just a regular comedy. I wouldn't call it a rom-com, because I think the definition of a rom-com, you have to see the relationship and the romance and the struggles of it.
Yeah, exactly. This is what this guy worded it really well as well. Is that it would be pretty hard to write a romance story where they stay together, because you don't have a conflict in the relationship. There's no story. So you would have to make the story about something other than the relationship. And that would probably mean the movie isn't a romance. So we all thrive off of this love and romance from rom-coms. But we're all just thriving on the feeling of meeting somebody. Which I do have one friend who is addicted to just dating somebody and then getting that thrive and then kind of like ending up like love bombing himself. He's just like, I love this person. This is who I want to be with. She's perfect. And then once it becomes like, once that beginning phase is done, he's over it. And I'm like, that's what it would, I think that's what rom-coms would really do for you. Just train you to just want the beginning part, not the whole rest of it.
I got love bombed for the first time after a date or during a date last week.
Really?
And I will tell you, it makes me want to apologize for everyone I've probably done it to, because I now understand the other side of it.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry.
Because anyone you do it to, when you're the one love bombing someone, you're just like, hey, I want to do all these things for you because you're so awesome, and I just want to give you all my attention, and like you obviously have to love this. It's so overwhelming for the other person of like, oh, you're trying to plan all these things for me all so fast, and now I have to say, why are you putting me in a position to have to say no to you 4 times within like a week about all these things? I don't want to meet all your friends right now. We've hung out once. I don't want to come to a birthday party at your place to meet all of these people and then hang out the next day at this, like all these things. Like, yeah. And it's like, oh, you planned like a week's worth of stuff, and now I feel like if I say yes to any of it, we're in some type of commitment of something. And
yeah, love bombing is a serious issue that's going on here.
And I feel like the other person's position is, hey, I'm just giving you options in case you want to do any of this thing. I'm just making it clear.
Yeah.
I'm just making it clear that I want to hang out and do anything you want to do. So here's some options. Balls in your court.
Ooh. Ouch.
Sorry, girls. I learned.
It's not good. It's not good. Well, this is why this is love bombing. I'm surprised there's not a love bombing movie. That would be very with the times.
There's a movie called Love Bomb, but it ain't about what you're gonna think it's about.
Oh, well.
It's a horror movie.
We need to write a rom-com called Love Bomb. There's no rom-com sequels also, because besides My Big Fat Greek Wedding, I think that might be one, but you don't see sequels because, like I said, how they end where you want them to end. My Big Fat Greek Wedding, that is the first one. Oh, Meet the Fockers, but that's not a rom-com. Analyze That. I've never seen that
Analyze
one.
This and Analyze That. There's all the 50 Shades of Grey or Twilight, if any of those. Or
oh,
the
Bridget Jones. That's a great one with sequels. And they do it so well. I still haven't seen the new one. I'm so excited to see it. Princess Diaries. I guess that could count. Sex and the City. Mamma Mia. There's a few. But they're kind of like... Bridget Jones in My Big Fat Greek Wedding, I would say, are like true rom-coms that have sequels. But... other than that, there's not many. Okay, so we've got a Misery Loves Mandy story, and then I have a cute thing I want to end on a happy note. I hope this wasn't like unhappy. It is a misery podcast, but if you guys are married, wonderful. I think that marriage is great. I think being trapped in a marriage you don't want to be in, not great. I think whatever you're doing, as long as you're happy. But I do think, I forgot to say, my friends who are all getting married to the guy that they've complained to me about a million times, you're not allowed to get divorced. You have to stay with that person forever because you did this to yourself. If we're all going to your wedding, you've told me this guy sucks and you just wanted that pretty little ring because you're settling, because you're lazy, because you're scared to be alone. You aren't allowed to get divorced anymore. You stay with that person forever and learn your mistakes. Is that too rough?
No more of these cash grab kitchenware.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
No, you're done here. You're done. You go to New Jersey, spend all this money. All right, so we got a fun Misery Loves company story about weddings. So, wedding photographer here. Easily the worst was when the father of the groom, apparently entirely sober, it doesn't sound like he was, gave a 10-minute toast that developed into openly complaining that his son got to have sex with the bride and he didn't. Oh, gross. And this wasn't a mistimed joke about how pretty she was. This was a full-on rant about growing old and how women didn't find him attractive anymore, and that all he wanted was to take his daughter-in-law to bed. Ew! How is she ever going to look at him again? I got a few photos of the bride and groom reacting in horror to this, and then I went and hid with the catering staff in the kitchen who were peeking at the door to observe the carnage. Now that is disgusting. Oh my God. I don't know how you recover from that. I think they know which house they're going to go to for Christmas now. And oof, that's a weird one.
No comment.
Yeah, there's not much to say about that, rather than I feel awful for everyone involved. And that is very creepy. I just saw Noah Cyrus, Miley Cyrus's sister. She's an amazing singer and great music if you haven't ever listened to her. She was dating a guy. I don't know if they ever got married or what.
No, but a guy who was way too old for her.
Oh, yeah, that's a good note.
Yeah.
And then they broke up, and then her mom started dating him, and then they broke up, and now Noah Cyrus is now back dating him after he slept with her mom. Ooh! Any family stuff like that creeps me out. I just don't want any penis that's been inside of my mom to be inside of me. Nothing against my mom. But, were they engaged?
Tish married him.
Oh, the mom married him.
Yeah.
And they broke up, and then now the daughter is dating him again.
Again?
Yeah.
I didn't know that again part.
They're back together. You can double check.
Oh, I don't need to. I don't care.
I saw that and that's why everyone was commenting they were back together because the tabloids are like, she's dating her mom's ex-husband. I'm like, she was dating him first. So, weird. But once again, do whatever you want. Life is tough. I end everything. Anytime I complain, but I'm like, but I'm very grateful. Or if I talk shit, I'm like, but do what you want. Okay. Oh, there was something else I wanted to talk about before we get into the... maybe we'll save this for the Patreon. I'm going to share a sweet story, and then I have an exciting topic I wanted to talk about I'll do on the Patreon because we're running out of time. All right, we're going to get let's end on a good note. I hope this was not too negative. This is a really cute story I was excited to see. Let's see.
Deborah Mundy and Mervyn Ryder love the movie Shrek. They also love each other. So the couple decided to get married, dressed as their favourite movie characters in a wedding they will never forget.
I wouldn't have changed it for the world.
Most brides want to turn others green with envy.
Yes, it was a fairy tale wedding.
Fairy tale all the way.
But when your family and friends lovingly call you Shrek and Fiona...
When the kids were growing up, they sort of tagged us all around the neighbourhood as Shrek and Fiona.
And then I saw her face.
Then this is what your Cinderella moment looks like.
Fiona,
Shrek,
I love you.
really?
Really, really.
I love you too.
Yes, it's just like in the movie.
Then Shrek kissed the princess. She turned into a beautiful ogre.
Mervyn Ryder married his one true love, Deborah Mundy, in a far, far away land. Well, okay, it's the backyard in Loganlea, Queensland.
Isn't this just
Yeah,
the
my father thought I was
cutest?
crazy. And when the actual ceremony had finished, he came up to me and said, "Job well done, you have pulled this off."
I think that was a very sweet story. There should be more weddings that are themed like that. Why do you have to keep it all the basic thing? You know? I guess, I don't know, maybe the guests would be annoyed having to dress up. I always think it'd be fun to do like a flappers themed wedding. But if I'm already complaining about going to any wedding, I think the last thing you would want was to have to buy a certain outfit to wear. So, later problems. But that was it, guys. Dress up as Shrek. Get married. Don't get married. date someone 40 years older than you. Doesn't matter, whatever makes you happy. But these are the jokes I'm working on as someone who is not married or divorced. So, the good thing is, no matter how old I get, these jokes will still be relevant for me because I'll be either one or the other. So thank you guys so much again for watching. Please send in your embarrassing pee stories to miserylovesmandypod@gmail.com. Everything will be below because next solo up, we're getting into bladder stuff because that is my life. And I'm so excited about my new version of that joke. I can't wait to tell you. And head to the Patreon where we're going to dive into something that we didn't have time to talk about on here. Thank you guys so much. Bye.